Alright, what's up guys? I know this video has been a long time coming, and that is explaining how I added 200 pounds to my squat naturally. If you haven't seen my transformation video, I made a squat transformation video on my YouTube showing how I went from a 300 pound squat to a 500 pound squat. And in the couple of years since the video has been out, a lot of people have been asking me on Instagram or even on YouTube comments how I achieved it. I'm going to be breaking down how I was able to gain strength so fast at the time, but I'm also going to be going over what I do now and the things and practices I do to try to stay injury free and continue making progress. So in the video, as you can see, I started off with a 300 pound squat post injury. This was huge for me because I had herniated a disc and it took me close to 6 months to get over it. I couldn't even do anything as much as lean over a desk and try to grab something without pain being there. So there was literally no shot for me to be able to even put a bar on my back or even pull anything on deadlifts. That's why having good form is so important, especially when you first start lifting, because that's just how you're going to be building the base of your entire physique off of. You want to be able to hit all your compound movements properly, and you just want to get strong, but you want to get strong in the right ways and to have longevity. And what helped me personally to get over the injuries was the McGill Big Three. I'm sure if you guys have watched Squat University, he's always throwing this McGill phrase out all the time, the Big Three. So I recommend checking that out as well in case you guys have any stability issues, any spine issues. For me, my spine was really messed up, so it took me a long time to get over it, but this is what helped me to really get back into the swing of things and just build stability in my core. And also, my body weight at the time was 168 pounds at 6'2", so I was a pretty skinny guy. Being able to hit that 300 pounds really built my confidence back up to really start pushing again. It was just so hard for me to try to, really get back into the swing of things, and once I was able to do that, my confidence was just at an all-time high again. And that's also the same time I actually started lifting with my training partner, Silvano. So the program we followed was push-pull legs without rest days. I know it sounds super dumb, and we don't do that anymore, and we haven't done that in a really long time. And that's what we thought serious lifters did, We would always be throwing out Arnold quotes and just blurting out different lines.
The difference, so this is why when I see guys texting, they're not serious. This is Mickey Mouse stuff,
I'm a stud. I'm ballsy.
So Todd, I called my mother yesterday already, and I said I won. She says, "Congratulations, Arnold."
At the time, it seemed like, oh yeah, we're just serious lifters. We do this all. We're so hard. But honestly, in retrospect, it was fun to be able to, just go crazy. But it was just the ego calling out, and it just wasn't beneficial in the long run, because we did have a few injuries that we sustained. So an average leg day would pretty much consist of me heading straight to the squat rack. I would have just the bar, do a few little warm-up, really get the feel of things, try to get into the squat position, stretch a little bit, and then I would slowly start adding the weight. And at the time, I would always try to hit either 1 rep maxes, 3 rep maxes, or 5 rep maxes. Even at that time, I knew that I couldn't hit 1 rep maxes every single time. But then again, I was still going absolute balls to the walls, trying to go crazy on 3 rep maxes or 5 rep maxes. And I didn't know anything about RPE at that time. I didn't really know anything about CNS, so I didn't know that, going crazy every single time would actually just destroy me for every other session. And RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. So RPE 1 being like a straight up warm up or like an air squat, but RPE 10 being like,
you know what, I'm gonna have a gun to your head, and if you don't hit this rep right here with your absolute max, it's game over.
So you wouldn't even be able to put another, even a tiny amount, not even 1%, to be able to hit that rep. And that's pretty much what I did every single session. A lot of powerlifting coaches are doing the same thing using RPE. So, young me getting into lifting, I would just go absolutely crazy on everything. And as you can see throughout the transformation video, I don't know how many times I dropped the weight. I even remember inserting those weight drops, thinking like, oh my God. People see these drops, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, this guy's a serious lifter. But now that I look at it, I'm like, okay, literally what was I doing? Like the safety racks were way too low. I was just ego lifting at that point, and it was dumb. I don't do that anymore. I'm sorry for damaging, all the safety racks. I don't do that. None of my friends do that. We're over that, we grew up, so we don't do crazy things like that anymore. So in the chase for big numbers, I also started developing hip flexor issues. a lot of tightness. It would just hurt like crazy. Even my elbows would be hurting like crazy just from poor form, because my arms would be yanked so far back that I literally just couldn't like bear the pain. And so I would wrap my arms. Even with my hip flexors, I would like I would bring a massage gun to the gym, and I would just be massaging my hip flexors for minutes just to really get it like loosened up. And that's why my form started breaking down as well. My poor form, due to my lack of glute activation, caused my hips to take over, and my hip flexors would just get absolutely annihilated from that. And that's where you would see me go from an ATG squat straight up to bombing out of any competition in powerlifting. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. Take your time in knowing your form and really just try to dial that in again. So at this point in the video, you're probably thinking, okay, so what you're telling me is that you maxed out every single session and just kept progressing, which in technicality, yes, but I think that genetics play a huge role in being able to assist you with progressing and staying even injury free. I know I had strains, but at least I didn't have, knock on wood, like crazy injuries that took me out for months and months, other than that spine injury that I did have. But thankfully I didn't have that return at all. In terms of genetics, I have an extremely long torso compared to my femur, which just gives me an advantageous position, allowing me to stay more upright during the squat. You can also tell with a lot of Olympic weightlifters, not all, probably most of them have the way that I'm built, which is just long torso, short femur. You can get into a way better upright position. It's just better. Whereas the opposite would be more beneficial towards like sumo deadlift, where they can just get super wide on each side of the bar and just be able to pull and have better tension with that. So alongside having the advantage of the bone structure to squat, I feel like I did also have a solid baseline for recruiting muscle fibers to even lift the weight. So it's no secret, I feel like I have straight up like a Ronnie Coleman level glutes in terms of insertions and just being able to pack on muscle, which is sucks for me. But I was always able to maintain a good amount of strength while being pretty lean. With that being said, I did bulk, and it was a pretty dirty bulk. The bulk lasted, that was 6 months, and I gained 25 pounds. And alongside having the increased weight, that meant I had a bigger gut, and it also meant I had thicker legs to reduce the range of motion. So all those really play a role in also assisting in being stronger at the lift. But that comes with the cost of looking like the Pillsbury Doughboy, so it's not really that beneficial. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I would do other accessories, but that just comprised of doing leg extensions and hamstring curls with the occasional leg calf raisers that I would probably just throw in there like once a month. But to switch over, what I'm doing now and what I'm doing to stay healthy and keep making progress at this point in my lifting career, at least in regards to diet, I would recommend not going crazy on the diet. You still want to feel healthy to a day-to-day basis, because that also does just transfer over to the actual lifts. You don't want to feel like garbage. You're not going to be able to, you know, progress as hard as you want to. And just because you feel bad, you're just not going to be there mentally. So in regards to programming, I ended up working with the powerlifting coach, and I was provided a program alongside having to send my lifts constantly to him so that I could get critiqued on my form and my RPE, just so that I didn't overshoot. The program never had me going crazy. I never did any RPE 10 movements. It just made me focus on the RPE 7, in which I would be able to slowly increase the weight while maintaining my CNS for the next session. Whereas previously, I would just hit my top set and leave. Now with my sessions, what I do is maybe hit, for example, a 1 set of 4 repetitions at an RPE 7. Maybe next we'll hit like a 2x6 as a working set at an RPE 8. And what also we did was we would constantly stretch after the lifts to make sure we stayed healthy. And I did include the cardio every single day just to make sure that my body was still flexible and still able to move. So make sure to stretch and get your steps in, guys, because it's super important, not just for daily lifestyle, but also for your actual lifting. Like they say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Don't get caught up in how quickly one person progresses compared to the other. It doesn't matter how long it takes, as long as you keep trying. I hope you guys have a somewhat of an understanding of how I got there. I understand that I didn't do anything special. It was just more idiotic training and just genetics happening to allow me to be able to hit the numbers that I did. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer them in other videos. But yeah, see you guys.